Pulp MX Network production.
Welcome to the Troy Lee Designs and Racetech Suspension and Engines Blair Matthes Project.
Yeah, welcome to another edition of the Troy Lee Designs Racetech Blair Matthes Project. Thank you for watching or listening. Whatever it is, we appreciate it, man. Things are going great. Lots of downloads, lots of listens and all of this. So, yeah, the show's going really well. We're stoked. Troy Lee Designs is stoked. Racetech is stoked. The Fraud is stoked. So, yeah, thanks again, everybody. Things are great. Troy Lee Designs, since 1981, when Troy first started bending visors in his mom's oven and then painting helmets at his mom's garage. He started back then, and then you know the place now, the world famous Troy Lee Designs. If you're in SoCal, you got to stop by. The place is like a regular museum of moto. Please check out TroyLeeDesigns.com for mountain bike stuff, moto stuff, great helmets as well for moto and mountain bike. A lot of guys that do both use Troy Lee Designs, and we can pass on a savings to you if you use the contact form on Pulp. We can send you a code to save with TroyLeeDesigns.com direct. Troy Lee Designs is all about pushing boundaries and standing out. Troy Lee Designs and ride with gear that says you're here to make a statement. Justin Barsha, Troy Lee Designs, was back this weekend at Southwick, and so we'll talk about that a little bit more. Racetech as well. Thank you to Racetech. Checkers and all the boys down at racetech.com doing great things. They got authorized service centers all across America. Motor work, suspension parts, all of it. Tell them you listen to this show. Tell them you listen to Pulp MX for a discount. Get your bike set up for your weight and or speed. Racetech.com, privateer proven since way back in 1983, I think, something. Racetech.com for more information. Zool's, Seat Concepts, Firepower, Maxxis, Decal Works, Stomp Grip, A-Stars, ASV Levers on board with us as well. We got codes to save with those guys, and thanks to our partners, man. Really appreciate it. I'm Steve Matthes. Producing the show is Kellen Brower, a.k.a. The Fraud, and my co-host, Regional Arena Cross Champion, the Daniel Blair. What's up, DB?
What's up, Steve? You know, our show flow is very consistent. We do fantasy at the very end, but I wanted to leave a little teaser for the end. We are fantasy lords. I just want to throw that out there.
The scores were unbelievable this week. We know this sport inside and out, better than the Jasons, better than Mr. Side, better than that English idiot. We know this sport, you and I, Daniel, because we're phenomenal at picking results.
It's a competition. I'm obviously against you every week, but there's some weeks when I just look at the scorecard and I go, hey, man, we together in this competitive game are a force to be reckoned with. So we'll get to that at the end. But Southwick's a weird one because it's such an outlier race. And, yeah, we were on it on some of our picks. A lot of zeros on the board. Like, we missed much. But now I'm excited to get into RedBud with you. I'm actually going this weekend too. Update for you. I got booked up. It's a combine weekend. So I'm taking Brandon's spot this weekend, and I'll be there both days. I actually am staying for Pro Day at RedBud.
Oh, wow. And by the way, sir, it's SMX Next is the name, sir. It's not Combine.
I know.
Also, we normally try to run sponsors shirts for this show, and we are all running ASV. So, yeah. Good job, Bob, sending us ASV shirts.
Bob's the best at that, though. He sends shirts and hats, and he is the most on it when it comes to getting you stuff. And my closet, I'm looking at it right now, my door's wide open, and I'm telling you, half of that closet is ASV. So yeah, that's what you get when you're Bob.
Yep. We're going to have to charge Bob double. Bob, you're going to get charged double for this one because we're all running ASV. RedBud this weekend, July 4th, always a cool race. I don't want to hear RedBud yelled at the top of your lungs 800 times. A few times is good, but it is a great track. It's a great facility. It's all based around, Independence Day, which is a really cool holiday. The riders get into it. Love it. It's always a good race. If you are a Euro, an Aussie, a Canadian, and you're wondering which national to go to, yes, I think Millville's a better track. Yes, that's my opinion. But overall atmosphere, overall facility, you got to make it the RedBud, man. It's absolutely something else. So great times this weekend.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the schedule right now. Supercross and motocross. Obviously, these new locations that Supercross went to is great. I love them going to Pittsburgh. I haven't gone yet, or to Philly, but I like the new there. The outdoor schedule is pretty concrete as it stands. There hasn't been a lot of changes in a long time, but there's certain ones that still stand out just because of the uniqueness of the event. And this is one because of 4th of July weekend. The history there, I feel like even in my younger years when I was watching as a kid, RedBud it was just one that always stood out to me and I remembered. And so, no, I love this one. This is one that I randomly don't miss. It's been an SMX Next race now for multiple years. So even with KTM, I was going to this one every year. Now I'm going this year. So I've turned into like a RedBud guy, and I love it. You're right. It's a great one. I'm okay with the start now. I didn't like it the first year. I kind of missed the old start just because of the tradition of it. But I've kind of just accepted this one as an A all around, and I'm stoked. It's gonna be hot though.
The old start. A lot of guys told me how dangerous it was. I liked it too. I never had to do it. I've ridden RedBud, but never off that start. Real dangerous from a lot of guys, and they've changed it obviously for Motocross the Nations, and they brought it back for the 50th anniversary. But then we had Tim Ritchie on the Pulp Show, and they went back to the old start, and he said he destroyed the old start, so it's gone. They're never going back to it. Big news: Chase Sexton's coming back this weekend for the Red Bull KTM guys. We last saw him at Paula, crashing with no goggles, banged up. I don't think he touches Jet, but I think he's in that next group. If you told me he went 4-2, 2-3, 3-3, 2-4, 3-5, I would absolutely stamp that with you. DB, where do you have him at?
Yeah, I would think a 5 would be a rough look for him. I even think a 4 for him personally. He'd probably be going home pretty pissed about that. But I do think that that's possible. If you think back to the first round, it was a lot of Jet, Eli, Chase. Right? Chase had the momentum from Supercross. I wouldn't say the emotional momentum at all, but physically he was still. I mean, he was strong. Where the other two were coming in, Eli and Jet, of course, coming in with some uncertainty. So I looked at it as a 3-man race. And then, of course, the hierarchy changes over time. There's a lot of cycling going on. And right now, just the way Hunter is kind of riding, I feel like Southwick was a big leap forward for him. Eli's been a little weird here and there. I put Chase more right with them. But at the same time, there is a part of me that goes, at his best, at his peak, he should be close to Jet. He should be with Jet. And that's where he would have been maybe last year. He was right. He was great last year. So if he did go 2-2, and was like within range of Jet, I'd be like, okay, I get that as a ceiling probably. But then a floor for me would be 4th. And if anything worse than that, then, I mean, the media, it's going to be all over him because he shouldn't be worse than 4th, in my opinion.
You got to give him a race to get his feet underneath him, I think. I think 2-2 would be his ceiling, but I don't look for him to do that. Like, I think Hunter right now riding really well. Eli's won 2 motos, right? Eli's been a bit hot and cold. So it'll be interesting. It's great to see him back though. And cause he is going to run with all those guys and it's going to be great to watch. DB, what do you make of Tomac's, I guess, up and downness? I don't think that's even a word, but like he's won 2 motos, but Hunter caught him past him this weekend at a track he's really good at. We've seen him rip through the pack and not be able to make passes. It is, odd moto to moto what we're going to get from ET3.
Well, you're right. The first moto was really, really flat, and the second moto was great, but he was up front. He had a better start in that one. Hangtown, he won the first moto, but he was up front. And the second moto, he was not up front, and it was pretty bad. Then the last few rounds in a row, it's been the same thing where Moto 1, he gets a bad start, and he just kind of is buried, does nothing, and then Moto 2s have been better. Southwick was the first time for me where both motos left me a little unenthused, I guess you would say, because there's always been at least one moto where you go, okay, well, at least he has that one. But Southwick was weird, and I went in thinking that was going to be a good one because he had a week off. It was like a little bit of a breather. He's always been so dang good there. So I actually went in kind of excited thinking, all right, maybe we get 2 motos here. This is going to be the one, and it was actually the opposite. So I do think that RedBud, though, is a track. I just think about his style and his history. I think it's going to be just a hot one out there. It lines up for me thinking he'll be good, especially trying to bounce back after a bad one. But then at the same time, like Hunter, man, like if Southwick is the start of what he's about to be the rest of the year, then Eli's going to be dealing with 96 the rest of the year and might not see 18 again. And I don't want that. I want Eli going after Jet because that's what we've all been waiting for. But, man, I'm just trying not to get too caught up in this last Saturday every week. But this last Saturday left me unenthused. So, I'm a little confused by him, to be honest.
Something we talked about in the review show with the Jasons. What's your percent that Jet runs the table, because it's a very real possibility from here on out. He's getting better from the ACL. The bike's better. What's your percent? Like I'm 30, 40.
Oh,
is it that too high?
Maybe more. Well, here's why. That looked to me like a calculation issue going on for a few weeks, where it was the starts weren't always there. The bike wasn't all the way there. He wasn't fully trusting maybe the knee at all times. To me, it looked like a whole lot of we're not all the way there. And then this last one was like, we're all the way there. If the starts are going to be like they were, then he won't be touched, because I don't think anyone's going to just pass him and beat him. That's not going to happen. I don't see that happening unless he stalls it.
Starts should be good. The big thing between like a prime Eli Tomac and a prime Jet Lawrence is their Jet's starts are phenomenal. I mean, they haven't been every single moto, but basically.
And that's where, again, Southwick, to me, it is the outlier race. So I want to hope that it was an outlier race, but at the same time, his starts were automatic. He looked like he was playing around that track, just surfing around it with like no issue whatsoever. And it feels like between the starts, the bike, his knee, the whole thing, it feels locked in. And also, I don't think he likes losing very much, and losing at High Point and stalling and having these issues. Even Thunder Valley was just not as great for him. It was, he got passed by AP. I feel like he may have gotten a little pissed off during the break and came out and said, all right, enough's enough. And now everything's buttoned up. And if it's buttoned up, I don't see him getting beat. So I'd go higher. I'd go 50 to above percent.
Wow.
That he could do it now.
Okay, goddamn.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Deegs too. By the way, Deegs too. Maybe higher.
So it was sand. It is an outlier. Hunter Lawrence catching and passing Eli Tomac is an outlier. RJ Hampshire riding really well, getting fourth in the second moto. He's a sand guy. He's always been pretty good at Southwick. There's a lot of outliers that maybe we could write off to Southwick being a sand track. Which one is more of an outlier, DB? Jet being that dominant, Hunter passing Eli, or RJ being fourth and breaking into that gap? Like, which one is the most Southwick induced?
RJ, and I say that not as a diss, because it was such a great ride, but in reality, AP, Jay Coop had some weird starts on this one. There was a lot going on in this one that allowed him to be, I think, closer to his best. And I don't know if fourths are going to happen all the time there. And maybe it's Hunter. Maybe reality check. Hunter was really good at Southwick. He comes back, and AP and Jay Coop and him are back together, because I've always seen that little trio together. But I've got this feeling, and I could be way wrong. Maybe it's just a feeling, but I have a feeling Hunter is about to break from that group and be more of an Eli Chase problem than a Jay Coop AP problem. That's just my feeling. So maybe this weekend RJ goes and gets fourth again, and Hunter gets a fifth, and I'm like, oh man. But it's one of those two. Jet to me is not an outlier. This was just the final pieces of the puzzle all being put together.
This was a week off, happier with the bike. It's time to go.
Everything. And so for me, I think we're about to see a best. And not only that, but with Chase being there, I think you and I maybe talked about this. Jet takes things very serious when he feels like there may be some serious pressure from a couple people, Eli being one. And I'm sure he went into Southwick going, Eli's probably going to be good here. And I'm sure he's feeling right now, well, Chase's presence back changes things a little bit. And there's a more of a competitive thing against him, which to me spells Jet being really on his game, because he doesn't like to play around with those guys as much. So I think Jet's about to go on a little mini tear here. I think Hunter has found something. Obviously, the bike probably helps. And RJ was great, but RJ is, I think, going to be track dependent. And not when I say good, but that was a great moto. And I think great motos will come when the situation is right for him. The class is too deep to just peg that as like a new thing. I don't think fourth is an every week thing for him. And if he's listening to this, RJ, I'm sorry, but it's a great ride. But I do think that 6, 7, 8 spot is more the norm on the way out.
RJ passed 30 guys in Moto 1. He was on the ground and passed 30 guys. Justin Cooper too. They got Savacci in the first moto. Those guys got busy first moto, and it's not easy to do that at Southwick. Daniel, you were a great outdoor rider, so you know this.
I actually remember we talked about how in the qualifying system back in the day, there would be Saturday qualifiers that had to get you into Sunday. Then you had to qualify Sunday to the motos. Yeah. Southwick is the only one on the schedule in my history as an outdoor racer, which was only 3 years, that I did not qualify from Saturday to Sunday.
Oh,
just want to point that out. It was the only one.
That's a really expensive trip to not make Sunday qualies.
I didn't make it to Sunday, dude. That's how good I am at sand.
Did Vincent?
He never did outdoor.
Oh, okay. I thought he did some outdoors. Okay.
I don't even think he ever did one. If I remember correctly, he got hurt before a couple. I don't think he did one. So.
Right. Hey, by the way, thank you to Troy Lee Designs, and appreciate those guys coming on. We'll get you a code if you email us using the contact form on Pulp TLD. I got some mountain bike stuff from them, and so I've been enjoying riding with that. TLD.com and TroyLeeDesigns.com. Racetech as well. Thank you to those guys. Seat Concepts, been saving asses since 2009. You look at Phoenix Racing. By the way, Phoenix put TJ Albright on the bike, which is awesome. TJ's a great dude. Really hoping for the best for him. So Phoenix Racing, Factory Beta, AMA Pro Yamaha, SLR Honda, and more. Pulp 25 to save 15% at seatconcepts.com. Huge in the dual sport world and the touring world, like the African Twins and all of that, the Teneroos from Yamaha. Teneroo? Daniel? Okay.
Never heard either.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, it's either called Tenere or Teneroo. I forgot the.
I've never heard either one of those words.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. No option for me.
It's Yamaha's dual sport, the venture bike. So anyways. Seat Concepts, Race 2.0 Comfort Series. Please check them out. Zool's Bag Co. ZULZBagco.com. DB's got some Zool stuff. I've got Zool stuff. Pulp 25 saves you with those guys. Triumph Racing, Phoenix Racing, using Zool's bag. Gear bags, sporting bags, backpacks, carry-ons, roller bags, all of it. ZoolsBagco.com. Great stuff. Wheels are good. Zach Osborne, still using the Zool's bag as well. Pulp 25 code to save. Thank you, Maxxis Tires. Fast Freddie Norn didn't make the motos at Southwick, but it was not due to his Maxxis tires. We got to hit the panic button on Freddie. We're going to figure that out. But he uses Maxxis tires. Chambers, PRMX guys as well, Maxxis.com. Great mountain bike tires, dirt bike tires, Jeremy McGrath. I just talked to McGrath on the phone 2 hours ago, Daniel, and let me tell you, it's really cool when McGrath picks up the phone to talk to you, even still. So, he's involved with Maxxis stuff as well. He's helped develop them. So Maxxis.com for more information on that. Daniel, we saw Joe Schmoda. He's really good at Southwick. He rode a great second moto. First moto, we fell in the first turn, came from way back to 10th. Kitchen had a side cramp, but for a while, he was keeping Deegs honest. 5 minutes, 6 minutes. He was keeping Deegs pretty honest. It's a bet, and Chance Hymas is out, obviously, but it's a battle for second in the points right now in the 250 class. Joe's got a bit of a breather room, but here comes Levi Kitchen. He's rolling. Marchbanks is right there as well. He had a bit of an off race. But do you favor one guy to get second in 250 points here? Do you favor someone?
Man, I mean, I hate to take that absolute middle ground here, but between Shimoda, Kitchen, and Vialle, because Tom still has that way of just stacking them points, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, there he is. And so even though he maybe hasn't done anything that's as exciting as the other two, because you're right, Kitchen is starting to show signs in motos where you're like, damn, that's the better version of him that we haven't seen all year. But he was out in Supercross, so it's been just a weird Kitchen year. And then for Joe, again, he started out with just all those twos across the board, and since then it's just been this or that or whatever. So I don't know if I trust either one of them two, where Tom, I don't really see him popping off the screen really ever. But he's a point stacker, man. He's just going to be there, and all of a sudden we'll be at Bud's, and we'll be like, oh, Tom got second. So I'll go, honestly, if you force me to pick one, I maybe go Tom, because I trust that. But at the same time, I feel really in the middle of those three, because I do think Joe has been great. The results just haven't matched the riding. And Levi is waking up where all of a sudden I could see him go 2, 2, 2, 2 and a few motos in a row and stack a bunch. So I'll go dead center, but if you're forcing me to pick, I would say Tom finds a way to stack his way into second by the end.
Thanks for not going full JT and waffling, although you kind of are. You a little are, but we did force you to pick.
I half waffled.
You went half waffle, which is my favorite grip to run, by the way. I will go Kitchen. I think he's going to figure this out. Joe's been sneaky good. Vialle's Vialle. He's really consistent. Levi's more up and down. But I'll go Kitch. I got to look at the points here. I meant to pull them up beforehand, but of course, I didn't do much prep for this. All right, 250s point standings. We have Joe is up. Actually, Joe is up. Oh, shit. He's up 22. 22.
But he's been sitting at that for 3. I mean, he's surviving that gap because the other guys keep letting him find his way there. I mean, they're all Kitchen could have cut into it big this week too, but
I didn't think he was up that much. But
how far is Tom back?
Tom's one up on Levi, so Tom is 11 back of 21 back of Joe.
See, and that's why Tom's going to catch him, because he was way further than that a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. He was more in the 30s, so that's why I think Tom's just going to be there quietly, and we're going to look up, and he'll be there. And he doesn't really blow it that much. But I am with you on Levi being the best of those three when it comes to on screen and the eyeball test, because he does seem to be getting it together in individual motos. And again, I think his ceiling is probably a little higher than the other two, but I just trust Tom more, man. He doesn't screw up unless it's a mud race in Foxborough when he's supposed to win. That's the only time he ever screws up and gets last. That's it.
He is more consistent. Tom, like you said, Joe started off consistent, but Tom is, he's pretty consistent for sure. So I think I'll stick with Kitch, but man, I mean, you think about it, the National Series is only 11 rounds. This is round 6 this weekend, and Kitch is 22 back, like I said. Like,
how far are they back on Deegan now? He's going to clinch too early.
8 million.
I mean, because it's 50 points a weekend, which if he gets over 100, he'll be clinching 2 rounds early.
He's 60 points up.
So that seems easy. Could he do it 3? Could he get it by Washoe?
Damn, dude, I don't know. He was on another level at Southwick though, for sure. Because the one thing he hadn't gotten is the starts. Well, he got him at Southwick, and
big ones too.
Yeah,
big ones. I'm just curious because you're starting to hear that chatter of will he go up to a 450 early? And there's a part of me that's like, there's no way he's just going to dominate his way out, because why wouldn't he? Especially with Motocross of Nations and SMX. But then there's just like that little hope in me. I was like, just go do it.
Nah, Brian,
but I don't think they will.
They're too calculated. They're not going to do that. They'll wait and come in next summer when everything can get properly tested and run.
There's
and everything else.
I don't believe there's a reason to, because if I believe I'm right on this, the 250 has no change for Yamaha next year, but I believe the 450 has a little bit of some things changing on the bike. Enough to where I'm saying you wouldn't use it as like, well, we're getting some early testing for next year, because I think there's some changes enough to where they would probably start different anyway. So I don't see it happening.
I mean, he's got, and remember, we got SMX now, so you would have Deegs jumping up 450, then jumping back down to 250 for the 3 SMX rounds and all that. It's not going to happen.
And he's going to want to three-peat the SMX thing and win all 3 the first 3 years. So it's intriguing because everyone wants it, because I think we've all agreed. I don't think there's anyone out there anymore that's like, well, it's just because of this. The dude is an absolute freak show on that 250, and he's going to be a good 450 rider. There's no evidence whatsoever in his riding that says, well, that ain't going to work. Well, so I think we're all just excited because it's going to be good.
Do the math, people. He battled Hunter Lawrence tooth and nail for the 250 title, and look what Hunter's doing right now. So why wouldn't Deegs just be right where Hunter is? I don't think he beats Jet, but he'll be right there with the other guys. Yeah. So,
that debate's over. That debate is over.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, speaking of Vialle, and the fraud can jump in too now, Kellen Brower. But speaking of Vialle, Lewis Phillips had tweeted out that he heard Vialle was going to go to Honda MXGP next year. I saw that, and I'm like, oh, our guy Lou, he's on the sauce again. Because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Because I know, talking to Ian Harrison, that he had told me this is what's happening with Vialle. 450, we're jumping him up. He's got a bike, blah, 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 after he won the 250 Supercross. Well, I sent another couple texts out and kind of confirmed what Lou was saying. So I don't think it's done, but it's looking that way, that Tom Vialle goes back to Europe for Honda HRC, which Tim Geiser doesn't have a deal, so he may leave Honda, or they could go Geiser Vialle. Kind of a shocker, but honestly, probably for the best. Like, I've been accused of being a Vialle hater, and I get it, but just look at the stats. He's the worst 2-time 250 Supercross champion, it's as far as wins that there's ever been, by half. Good job to him, but is he going to be an elite 450 guy? Not really in my eyes in Supercross. He's not really an elite 250 guy. He's in the group of them. He's not standing out by himself, and he's probably getting paid a shit ton of money. So to me, Daniel, like, I think this is a good move for Tom.
Well, I got 2 points I want to make. The first one is, what a weird story to come over here as a 2-time MX2 world champion who had never ridden Supercross and was French. That right there alone is the weirdest story ever. Then he has to learn it. Now I remember the very beginning, and
you can't say never. He did do some, but he wasn't a typical French.
He wasn't a typical French guy. He wasn't one of them. He probably Superos would probably lap him that first off season. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But he comes over here, has to learn how to do the whoops. Didn't know how to do them, and from what I heard, it was bad that first off season. And then he gets kicked out of the 250 class in 3 years over here because he wins years 2 and 3. Now, regardless of how he did it, what it looked like, the wins, a title's a title is a title. And he got 2 of them and got kicked out of 250 racing in 3 years. I don't know who the last person to do that even was. Jet didn't, Hayden didn't, but Tom Vialle did. Okay.
I think Kennard did.
Did he go out in 3?
I thought he went out in 3.
He did because he won the rookie year.
He won the rookie year.
Lost the next 2.
Yep.
Okay, so he maybe did. Maybe Purcell might have done that too. But I'm just that's a long time ago is what I'm saying. It hasn't happened in a while. And now he's just going to go back to Europe and be like, yeah, I came over here, I learned Supercross, I won 2 titles, got kicked out of it, and now I'm going to go back home. That's a weird story in itself. But here's where I want to go with this because I don't see how the strategy is not being thought of by everyone involved over there. He can do the Justin Cooper schedule. When Justin Cooper moved up to the 450 class that first year, he did a couple. But then he went back to the 250 for the outdoors. And if you think about Tom's focus since he's been here, it's been on Supercross, which is 8-9 months out of the year in America. He hasn't really thrown everything at the Motocross Championship. And because he's been in these title fights, he doesn't really get to prep going into the season ever. What if he did, say, 6 450 Supercrosses, Steve, and then, say, mid-March, April, went back to his 250, put all of his energy towards 250 outdoor. Hayden Deegan's now gone. He's my pick to win it next year. I would pick him over Joe and Kitchen and even a returning Hymas. So if he races 250 outdoor next year, he is the favorite to win it. He got second last year. He's probably going to get second this year. Are they not thinking of that? There's no rule in pointing out of the outdoors. So why don't they run the Justin Cooper program, let him dabble in the 450 Supercross, and then throw all their energy at outdoors and go win the outdoor title too? I mean, why does he have to go 450 outdoor and go and get that sounds silly to me.
I don't know. The last guy that I can think of that rode 450 Supercross and jumped down to the 250 class was Ernie. And that was 2005.
But Jay Coop did it. No, Jay Coop just did it. His first year on the 450 in Supercross.
Yeah, but he wasn't a full-time 450 Supercross guy.
That's what I'm saying.
He dabbled. Right.
That's what they should do at Tom. Maybe the money is an issue, but whatever. Like KTM, you guys could win the 250 outdoor title next year with that guy. I wouldn't even worry about. He has to race 450 Supercross at some point. So run all 17. I think that's fine. That's what you're paid for. That's what you're paid for. In April, you pivot over and you go all in on outdoor, which you have never done since you've been here. He's been battling for titles to the last race of the last lap of every race for 2 years straight. He gets no prep in. Give him a runway in and watch what happens. What, he can't beat Joe and Kitchen and Hymas? He does it anyway. All of your ranting and raving right now, Daniel, doesn't really matter because we think he's going. Yeah, I think he's going to Honda in Europe. Let's bring in the fraud who is Tom. He's not a Vialle. Like, Vialle's not on the Marvin Musquin, Ben Townley level for him, but it's up there. Breaking news your reaction, I should say, to this breaking news, Kellen Brower.
I mean, I think that to what you guys just said, it's probably the better move for him just because he'll make more money going back there to do this than what he would have done to stay at the KTM deal. It wasn't going to be a lot of money in the first place because they're trying to sign either Sexton or Tomac. And so he can get a big lump sum of money here. And based on the current status of MXGP in the first place, he could walk back into being a title guy over there pretty quickly anyway. So I think it's a good financial decision, but I would also maybe hit back a little bit on him not really fitting in to 450 Supercross or outdoors because we're seeing where RJ fits in and we see where eventually J Coop fit in. And I think Vialle was right there with them indoors and out. So I don't know that it would be. You think he's there indoors with those guys? I mean, as he beat RJ in a title, like I know they all had their bad rounds, but he did beat him in a title. And if he doesn't have the Foxborough thing, he beats him handily. So yeah, that's true. Like, I think he's just consistent. Like, he wouldn't break the bank and give you these gnarly random podiums or wins, but he would be like 6 to 10 every week.
He's
That's a pretty
a
good number 2 guy.
He's a winner. I mean, that's the thing is he is a winner. The guy gets the wins. But I don't know if physically he's never looked as good as RJ or J Coop to me physically as far as the way it looks. But he does, again, he stacks the points and he wins. So it's hard to take that part away from him.
You really got to give him credit too, because the French get that stereotypical soft term, right? Blah, blah, blah. But that dude ate crap at Philly and the next one.
Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. In the heat race and then in practice, and he went down hard, and that guy rebounded with great races.
And won that night. He won that one.
Yeah, he did. So I give him full props. But something Kellen actually touched about that actually is probably a good point, and I meant to bring it up, and I forgot, and now I'm going to make Kellen look smart, but I swear to God I thought of this. The money. Like KTM's got Tomac, they got AP. You know that they're like, hey, Tom, you moving up? Oh, shit. Okay, well, we don't have a lot of money. We didn't really plan on this, so here. Like it's a good salary. We don't need to start a GoFundMe for him. But I think Kellen's got a great point that I swear to God I was going to echo. I bet you this Honda deal is double. I bet you it's a lot more. I bet you it's a lot different because, again, KTM wasn't planning on paying a guy for 31 races, and now they had to. So good job, Kellen, for bringing that up.
Yeah, I'm just here, you know.
Yeah,
just here to help. Hey, but I will say, and this is me being as blunt and nice about it as I can be, his odds of winning the 250 Outdoor Championship here and running the ID I just said are 10 times better than him beating that Conan over in the GPs. I'm sorry, but he's not touching
10
that guy
times? No, not
20
10
times. My bad, 20 times. I'm sorry for being gentle on that. Dude, he's the second best outdoor rider in our country right now last year, and he'll be there probably by the end of this year. I think he wins that title, and I think it wouldn't be that hard for him. And he's not going to go over there on a 450 Honda in the GPs. And that Conan kid's 18, dude. He's going to be even better next year.
Well, it's Coonan. It's Coonan for but Kellen, what do you think? Coonan's really surprising me for sure. I didn't have him running with Febvre. Tim's been hurt. Jeffrey got hurt again. And sorry guys, sorry about the Jeffrey injury. He's to me, Kellen, Vialle's right with those guys.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I think it would take him some time maybe to adapt to the Honda, I guess. But he knows those tracks.
But
he's comfortable in that environment. He's been around it before.
Your friend Daniel just said 20 times.
Yeah, 20. No, it's not that way. I mean, look, Motocross of Nations at Earn A 2 years ago.
You guys,
Coonan was supposed to be that level, and he just was.
You guys are
not even on Tom Vialle's radar.
You're crazy
all day long.
You're crazy. So, look at Tom on a 250 against Levi, Joe, and Chance versus Tom on a Honda 450 against Febvre, Conan. You guys are crazy. It's so much better odds to win the 250 Outdoor title here next year than the 450 MX1 title.
Okay, wait. It's
30 times. My bad. I'm going up.
You're probably right. I live in Vegas. If this was on FanDuel, Tom's odds to win 250 motocross in America would be better than to win 450 MXGP, but not a lot better. But they would be better. Kellen, can we agree with that?
Yeah, I'll agree with that because I do think that switch back over is going to be tougher than him just staying here doing what he's already doing.
Yeah.
But I think that he's every bit as talented as those guys. It's just going to take time to get back to that level over there.
Well, Tom, I don't know if you're watching. I don't know what your agent situation is, but give me a call. I'll help you with this deal. I'll make it happen for you. We'll get those bonuses big from KTM. Look, Juju's having a rough summer. They don't have KTM representation in the summer next year locked in, but give me a call. I'll help you with the deal.
Further on this, I heard from a rider in the Austrian group that the Wolf was going to head over here and ride KTMs. But then our friend Lou talked to a pretty good contact close to the Wolf, and that gentleman was saying no, he doesn't know anything about it. So we'll wait and see. But there could be a spot for KTM here. I fully believe that Dax Bennick will be on Husqvarna, RJ Husky, Malcolm Husky. Ryder D told me he's got a contract. I don't know if he's going to sign it or whatever. So that's going to be a Husky team, but that still leaves KTM after Julian Beaumer with one spot. So we think. So if Tom leaves, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I think you missed a name too in there too. So.
Who did I miss?
Casey
Cochran.
Yeah, but you okay?
I'm
gonna. Kellen, you said don't say anything.
No. I didn't say that. I'm saying I think that he's staying there now that I know. But I believe
don't
he's
say
staying.
that. You told us don't. You told me don't.
No,
oh, wow.
I told you something else is not shareable.
Not that one.
This guy.
I think so.
I think they have 3 250s.
They got Dax, Casey, and Ryder. D?
Yeah, Dax, Casey, and Ryder.
Okay.
I believe. I will make a phone call as soon as this is over, and then next week we'll give an update on that one. But I believe all 3 are going to end up there on Husky.
Stomp Grip, stompgrip.com, PulpMX 25 to save with Stomp Grip. Whether you're racing Supercross, hammering motos, ripping laps, the local track. This is proudly made in the USA, these guys, in California. Grip tape and frame grips give you the control you need to stay locked in, engineered for high friction zones. Stomp Grip's 3D grip tape helps reduce arm pump, improve body positioning, protect your plastics. I mentioned this last week. Back in my day, we had to go to Home Depot and buy this stuff for a deck and then cut it out with scissors and make a cardboard template. Not anymore. Stomp Grip solves all that. StompGrip.com. Thank you to those guys for coming on board. Firepower Parts as well. Daniel Blair's Club MX team using Firepower batteries, and they got chains, and they got a lot of cool parts at firepowerparts.com. Great loading ramps that Daniel steals from poor, unsuspecting gentlemen, older guys with bad knees, and then stands as well. So firepowerparts.com. Check it out if you can. Thank you to those guys. Troy Lee Designs, Race Tech as well. Okay, Masterpool is out, which is a huge bummer. He's been underwhelming this year. He's been sick, throwing up. I don't know what's going on. But if there's one thing you can count on is Ty Masterpool ripping at RedBud. And he crashed this week, and he's not going to race this weekend. So huge bummer for Masterpool and the Pro Circuit guys, Daniel.
Yeah, my interest with him is what happens now. We know the Pro Circuit situation. Again, Drew Adams was kind of your amateur fill-in, moving himself in, but we know that he is all the way in next year, and I think he's proven enough this year to show that he's worth it, especially for a team that we talked about. They don't have a lot of youth there. And Drew he's the young one there. So that's happening. Now it's up to this Marchbanks situation, which I just don't see how that doesn't get done. It just seems weird if it doesn't, which would leave Masterpool out. And Steve, my question to you is what happens then? Because he didn't do anything indoors. So he didn't get to show that other side. If it's there, that, hey, I can do this too. So essentially it's an outdoor kind of only situation. All the teams are filled. Is this back to 450s stuff again? Like, where does it go with him? Really, I to me, it's a lot of these guys you could see a future. You could go, yeah, it's either this or that. But this one is where I'm kind of like, I don't know what happens next.
I don't know either, and I don't think anybody knows because Ty Masterpool's career has been one giant question mark. And it was awesome last year when he got that fill in and he won the national, and everyone thought, here we go, and then just one issue after another. I know there's been frustration on the Pro Circuit side towards Ty's injuries and coming back and when he's coming back and why not and what's going on. And, the family runs a tight ship. They have plans and the plans don't always jive with teams. Great kid, nice family. It's more question marks for Ty Masterpool for sure. He's going to look back and think, man, I had this shot and I didn't really grab it right. Now, some of it due to sickness for sure. But yeah, Daniel, I have no idea. I don't even know if he knows.
Yeah, I don't have a clue on the future. I wouldn't even be able to guess. But the one thing in the past that's always been an odd one to me, and I don't want to revisit it for too long, but he just seems like the type of guy that when he was young would have done well over in the GPs if he would have went early without the Supercross stuff. You go over there maybe at 18, 19 years old. I think he could have put down a really nasty run of MX2 racing over there. And obviously, you're right. The family's tight. They like to be at home. They like to be in Texas. So maybe it didn't fit the overall vision. But if you just go back in time and at 18 years old when he left Star, you send him over to the GPs. And if I just think take the Supercross stuff out of his mind, that guy would have been great in MX2 for a number of years. So that's revisiting the past. But
30 times better odds to win MX2.
Hey, 30 times better odds to win MX2 than win the American Supercross title.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
Are we good on that one?
Yeah, we're good on that. Daniel, what do you make of Chad Reed helping out Jorge Prado here? By the way, did you read Jorge's interview on Racer X?
Yes, I did.
Holy smokes.
That was strong. It was strongly worded.
I thought it was going to be a good day. Kellen, you talked to him too for Swap Moto also, and he just reiterated more of the same. I thought we were going to have a good day, a big celebration, really happy. We were not. Spoiler alert, we were not having a good day. He almost made the podium, crashed both motos. But anyways, I want to more focus on the Reed thing, and I brought this up on Monday. Chad loves Oscar Werdeman, who is his old mechanic and helping out. He's Prado's crew chief. And he loves Theo Lockwood, who's a crew chief for Anderson, but also the data guy over there. I think Chad has never been easy on the teams that he's ridden for. There's plenty of those stories of swapping clamps and forks in between practices and everything else. But one thing I think Chad can tell Jorge, hey, these are your guys. These are smart people. Obviously not happy with the bike, but honestly, there's people in the pits that are going, oh God, you're throwing Reedy into this thing? Holy shit. There's plenty of those people in the pits. I'm taking the opposite side. Chad has so much respect for Theo and Oscar. I think he can help.
I'm with you because I've been on site and I've seen this, right? I've watched this relationship start and where it's going. And I mean, Chad is actually doing so much on the property right now. Like, I don't know if you know this or have heard this, but he's been helping test the club bike too. And like riding the bike and working on chassis stuff with Max Volan, working on power stuff for the program. I mean, what's crazy about Chad is he can see some things from the side and kind of get an idea, but he could also get the gear on and go and ride. And he rides R250. He's been doing motos on our Loretta's track with the Loretta's kids riding and testing different things. And it's made massive improvements. Now with Jorge, it's different. It's more of I think a mentorship. He's going to obviously help with the bike because of his knowledge, but I think he's overall just kind of helping guide him in this transition over here. And if what you're saying is right, I don't know about that past relationship all the way, but Oscar's been on site multiple times. He's been awesome to me. Just, he'll have to coordinate a lot of my scheduling around what Jorge's doing too. And I know that Chad is going to influence Jorge the right direction, especially if he believes in the guys that he has to work with on the team side. So I didn't know that relationship existed until you said it. And now that I know that, I'm going, oh, it makes sense why it seems to be a positive where everyone seems to be positive. And he's not going, hey, these guys suck. Because I will tell you, you're right. Chad in his day was probably more difficult, but that's also him racing. I think it's different now because he's older and he likes the mentorship. So I don't think he'll approach it the same way he approached his own racing. But just a little bit of influence he's had on our bikes has been awesome. And the influence he's had on Jorge through the mentorship in 1 week was pretty awesome. So I'm with you on this. I feel way optimistic, not pessimistic on the future getting better over there because Chad does believe in the people that are working on his bikes, and Jorge is buying into him big time. And like you said, Chad can be a little polarizing, but at the same time, he's not dumb. And so I'm with you. I'm on the pretty heavy optimistic side right now for that pairing all the way through.
Yeah, Oscar worked for Chad on Jan de Groot's team in 2001 over there, and when Chad came to Yamaha in 2003, when I was there with Ferry, he kept telling us about this wonder mechanic and this Swedish guy, and then Oscar made his way over to KTM shortly after that, and then they worked together at L&M and then at the 22 Motorsports and all that. So, yeah, Oscar's a smart guy, Theo's a smart guy, so let's hope they can figure that out.
And Chad, I don't think Chad won't take a side, really. Chad will say whatever he thinks is the right thing, and I don't think he'll be sensitive to either side. Like, if the bike sucks, he'll tell them. If it's Jorge, I think he'll tell him, too. So the one thing you get out of Chad is pure truth and honesty, whether you like it or not. And so I think maybe a little bit of some hard truths probably get delivered to both sides, and that's for the better, in my opinion, because both are probably a little confused with each other right now, and maybe you need someone like him who's going to be cool with both to come in and say the truth. And
there's
definitely, so I'm optimistic, like heavy on the side of this is going to be better.
There's definitely some European bluntness to Jorge's comments. A lot of riders are like that over there. But holy smokes, that was yeah, that was pretty.
It was pretty heavy.
It was
the only one that reminded me of that. And I remember being in the press conference in Supercross when I was hosting those was RJ Hampshire. To his Husky team was very, very blunt a couple times. Yeah. I mean, he is as nicely as he could say was this bike sucks.
Yeah, he got yelled at for an interview he gave me after a national one time. They called him in and said, "You can't say that."
Yeah, but you know what they did though? To Nate Dogg's credit, they worked overtime and got it right, and he went out and won him a title. So that's the thing, is sometimes you got to say some things and not beat around the bush and hold it in and then flip out. Sometimes you got to just say it, and maybe Jorge gets a little bit of a pass because he gets that European pass where he can say what he wants, because it was pretty harsh. But at the same time, it's not like Jason Anderson's crushing it and they're going, well, you're the only one. Like between Jason and Freddie, look, the green bike's not doing super great outdoors anyway, so they don't have a leg to stand on at the moment. For being
Roman
honest.
Febre, sir, red plate holder right now. Roman Febre,
and Tom's going to go beat him over there on a Honda 450.
Mr. Nicoletti holds down second in the points up in Canada.
But that's pure talent. You can't teach talent. When it comes to Phil, I mean, he can make anything good.
Yeah, that's a great point. Decal Works, by the way. Thank you to Ron, Sean, Nick, and everybody at decalmx.com. Promo code PulpMX25 to save. Red Bull KTM, Husqvarna Off-Road, using them for their graphics, and you can use them too. They'll give you some of those weirdo numbers that Kiefer likes without a background, where it's just the number shape if you're super lazy, or they can do your whole bike up front to back with all your sponsors, all your logos, everything you need on them. They'll send you a proof beforehand. Decal Works' mission is to cater to those who love to ride. DecalMX.com. Thank you to those guys. Alpine Stars protection as well. You know their gear, obviously, but elbow guards, neck braces, front and back chest protection. They got different lines of chest protection, from the crazy good stuff that goes all the way over your shoulders to just your front and back. Alpine Stars protects, and great company, great guys. And they got that Tech Air thing coming out. I heard it was August. I don't know. It's July already, so maybe it's next month. Check out that Tech Air when it comes out. It's going to be the ultimate vet guy chest protector. Alpine Stars protects. Thank you to them for coming on. Bigger shock. I didn't put this in the group. I just thought of this looking at some standings. Bigger shock for you: Mosman's speed or Beaumer's bad results?
I mean, Mosman should retire.
Yep.
Steve.
Yep. That's what he said. Bobby told him.
I can't even believe that. When I thought he was joking when he said that, but apparently the number 2 rider on Star when it comes to outdoor points and SMX points should retire. Just want to point out.
Yeah, but then
outside of Deegan, he's their best guy on the team in points this year. Just want to point that out.
I just think crazy Bobby just says this because, like, look at the Max Anstie thing when Max went off on him on the podium or whatever, right? He loved that. Apparently Bobby Reagan thought that was the most amazing thing ever, that Max called him out on it.
That's different than telling someone to retire twice in one summer.
Well, no, but then Mosman clarified that he called him last week and said, if you keep it up and get on the box, we'll bring you back. I couldn't live with the ups and downs. I don't want a boss like that in my life. I don't want to come into the factory, into the widget factory that I work for, and have somebody tell me I'm a pile and I should retire and I'm going to get fired. And then the next day tell me I'm awesome and amazing and here's a raise. I don't want to work for a guy like Bobby Reagan. Sorry, I just said that. I don't want that. I don't get motivated by that. I don't like that. I don't know why he does it. And it's fine if you like that and it seems to work. But for me, Steve Matthes, no thanks. Bobby, here's your bike. Pound it up your ass. Stop talking to me. That's how I would do it. Like, I think that's so shitty of Bobby to do that. And I know he's want to motivate you. That's his thing. But I don't roll like that, man. And these riders, that's what they want to do. They want to ride Blue Cruise so bad, they deal with it. But I just shake my head at it, man. Not for me. No thanks.
Well, I don't want to pile on because I feel like you said enough, but at the same time, to add to it, there's a long list of amateur kids turned pro that have not worked out there, and it's because you don't talk to kids that way. That's not what motivates and inspires kids that have been dealing with it their whole life by their dads and are now becoming men and are dealing with the pressures of trying to have a job or not. And that's not how you talk to kids. So, and I don't know that because I haven't heard the conversation with the kids. I'm just saying there's a long list of amateur kids that have not worked out there because of, I think, an environment that's probably not right for someone of that age. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. You went way further than I ever have, I think, man. And I've been pretty harsh, but
listen, and it works for some people. I'm not saying just for me, myself. Steve Matthes, no thanks. Beat it, Bobby. Let's get Kellen in here, the fraud, because he started a whole thing. LVK, the award-winning show, him and Lewis talking about post-race interviews at the Nationals. And then right before we started, Lewis Phillips sent a link to Vital, and now, as usual, and I've had this happen a lot, you say something, and then it turns into something else that you didn't say. And I heard the LVK show, so go ahead, Kellen, just break this thing down.
So basically, on the LVK show, Lewis and I were talking about like the difficulty we have as media to not only do the press conference, but also get interviews post-race with several athletes, which it's my job at Swap to do that. They pay me to do a feature called How Was Your Weekend, which is as many guys in the pits as I can get to talk about their race. And Lewis has a thing with Vital where they also try to do these one-on-one, more candid interviews. And what I said in the show was basically that, we're told don't go to the trucks. Like, we don't want you to go to the trucks. We'd rather you do this at the media scrum with the athletes that come to the scrum. We tell the teams to send your athletes. You should be there at the scrum doing the interviews there, which is exactly what they do. They have a safety meeting for us video and photo guys every week, and they say, like, please do not go to the trucks. Like, they use that verbiage
because
they want the
branding for the video guys in the background of the Nationals. Yeah.
But also, I do know that some teams have like not loved that we're there after the race and in their pits and the riders, and it's a balance. And as you know, Steve, like, they can tell us no, and we're okay with that. That's totally fine. And it's not like they're saying like a hard ban on anything. I see that word banning. Like, they're not banning us from doing it, but they're encouraging us, please don't do it. Like, they want to create this separation between the work area for the pits and where the interviews are to be done. And I understand that and I get it, but it doesn't really work. Like, the scrums don't get people going to it. So then by nature, we are often forced to then go back into the pits, and it creates this whole revoluting door of, please don't go. We've asked the teams not to to turn you away and blah, blah, blah. But then we go anyway, and they're fine with it when it happens. But then the next week they tell us the same thing again. So
this went into a tweet where a guy said MX Sports is banning interviews outside the press conference, was the tweet, which is not true. There's the scrum at the AMA truck with the backdrop, and then they don't like us going into the pits, and the teams can say no, which is always the case. I mean, every single post-race interview I've ever done, I don't force the rider to talk to me. For 15 years, I've been saying, hey, man, you want to talk? And they say yes or no. Like, nothing's really changed. But then now Lewis said it made it on Vital, and that's not what Kellen said. This tweet was, the guy said no interviews outside the press conference. Not true. But now we're off and running. And by the way, as we were doing this, I saw DC called me. I'm guessing it's something to do with that.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And I will also reiterate this point, like the whole nothing has changed thing. They literally do say in this safety meeting that we have for the photo and video guys, please do not go to the trucks. They use that verbiage. So like, it's a suggestion, but it's almost like them like really kind of pushing it on us, like stop doing it without like banning it, so to speak. But they do say it.
There was 3 guys at the scrum this week: Hunter Lawrence, Jorge Prado, Mosman, and I think Kessler, who didn't score any points and went 38-38. So like, basically there's 3 guys. So the teams aren't doing a good job of getting the riders there. And then we are forced like zombies, like 28 days later, zombies, to roam the pits looking for fresh blood to talk to. Zombies, riders.
Talk to me.
Talk to me. I go around and I intimidate everyone to talk to me. Just to clarify, Kellen did not say there's no interviews outside the press conference, because that's not true. They want us at the scrum, but I mean, the whole thing about we've told the teams to turn you away if they want. Yeah, man, that's just called anyone can say no to an interview at any time. Nothing's changed there. I've had plenty of riders be like, hey, I got to catch a flight, or hey, I suck today. I'll get you next week. And I just go, okay, cool, man. So anyway, so that's that. Kellen started.
I feel like relationships are going to play a role in that too, right? Steve, you've been there long enough. You have relationships with all these guys to where you could very easily pick up the vibe on who's going to say yes, who's going to say no, and you do that on your pulpcasts, which I listen to. I like those because I feel like you get them to say certain things that they would feel comfortable with you saying. So maybe it's one of those things where there's enough media that are credentialed now where they don't want everyone going in there because maybe the riders don't want every member of the media coming at their truck because they don't feel comfortable with them.
Well,
but then at the same time, then you go to the scrum and now all the riders are supposed to be open and honest and transparent, but there's like other riders standing 3 feet away that maybe they don't want to say. So this is a very confusing one. I'm not in that world, so I don't understand it all the way, but I feel like for you individually, Steve, just because I know your role in this, that you kind of know your way ins and out of the conversations and who's willing to have them. And it's probably not very threatening where maybe new members of the media are popping up and you're like, wouldn't want that guy at your truck. So maybe that's where the problem is. I don't know.
You're right. There's more media than ever. And also I'm doing audio only, which is a little freer than having a camera in your face. So I do feel like I get some good stuff. And I do feel like I have some great relationships with many people in the pits
that were built
to do that
over
kind
a long
stuff.
period of time. And it's
exactly.
a trust thing there. So.
Right. But honestly, the press conference thing, I thought Gypsy's tweet was idiotic. And I basically told him that. The press conference thing, the scrums, Feld and MX Sports can stop this immediately. They can stop all of this by just saying, hey, mandatory to bring top 10 to the scrum. Mandatory. You get one pass a series or two passes a series if you have a flight or an injury or a poor performance. But other than that, we'll be keeping track, and we'll see you at the scrum, top 10 riders. And then us media guys would go to the press conference because we know the top 10 are going to be at the scrum for the most part. But Feld and MX Sports have never helped us. They don't really care what we have to do. They asked us for our media stats to show the teams, and we showed them. And it's tons of views and tons of clicks. The fans don't want to just hear from the top three. As you know, Daniel, you listen to the Pulpcast. You get gold.
Way more
gold from riders further back in the pack. Kellen knows this as well. MX Sports and Feld have shown no inclination to help us. They want to stop us do things or want us at the press conference or want us to not go to the trucks or whatever, but they're not helping us. And that's because, is it because they're like, hey, screw the media? No, they're just scared or they don't think that they can tell the teams what to do. But when you look at MXGP, you look at MotoGP, you look at NASCAR, there's mandatory media obligations after these races for more than just the press conference guys.
Well, there you go.
We don't have
because
it.
If we were having to create something out of thin air, then I would say, man, I don't even know where to start. This seems really confusing. But if there's already models in place that are working, then to me, it's like implement one of those and just make the hard call and do it. Because again, I would be frustrated if I was media and I showed up and no riders were there. But at the same time, riders are probably sitting here going like, I don't have an obligation. I'm not being told I have to. Like they might suggest I do, but I don't want to. So screw it. So there needs to be some hard decisions made based on what's working in other sports, and everyone will take about a month or 3 months and they'll get over it. That's just usually how things go. So
no, they want the press conferences for themselves and to promote their series, and I understand that, and it looks good, but they don't want to help us help them. So we don't help them. And then we go round and round in this circle of fuckery. And Kellen knows. I've had 800 conversations with the folks at Feld on trying to make press conferences / media access easier. And we get nowhere. They took their scrum down this year. They had a scrum. They took it down. Feld did. So it's an ongoing topic, and I hope it fixes it. But
I mean, I'll let people in even a little bit more. We had a fairly large meeting at Tampa with team personnel and PR people and the media about how do we balance this? How do we fix it where we have scrums and press conferences and stuff? And I mean, for lack of a better word, the team's like, we're like, don't care, bro. Yeah. Sorry. Like that was pretty much like the middle finger.
I had a meeting here with Yamaha because I'm tight with those guys, with all the marketing people. I pitched them something on how to get post-race interviews with Tomac, Justin Cooper Webb. I pitched them a great idea where it would be every third weekend, one of them would have to stay. The other two will not be bothered. One of them has to stay so that we know at Tampa we're talking to Justin Cooper, win or lose. At Pittsburgh, we're talking to Eli Tomac, win or lose. And you just have to say, hey, Tomac, it's your week this week to stay for 30 minutes after the race. Everyone agreed. We all thought it was a great idea. And then it was crickets. Nothing happened because they don't.
I got something for you guys.
Okay.
Ready for this?
Go ahead. Yep.
If you are on the schedule to do press the next week, you have to do the scrum the week before.
That has been proposed.
And if you don't do it, then you don't get to do it. You don't have to do it the same week because you don't want to talk to the same guys before and after. You don't want that. You want the next wave of guys.
The next guys.
If you're scheduled for Millville press day, whatever, then you have to do the RedBud scrum. And if you don't, you're booted from the press day. You don't get to ride.
That's come up too. Great idea, Daniel. And that has come up. And nothing's happened. So anyway, so that's
I give up.
But if you see the topic on Vital, just know that whatever's on, I didn't read it, but it's not true. It's not true. The interviews are allowed at the scrum and they're semi-allowed back at the truck. But Kellen, MX Sports' thing about we want the backdrop, it makes sense. It's a logical ask. Yeah.
I'm there. Like I get it, dude. Like
I
understand that we want it to look even more professional in general in the first place. And from our standpoint too, it kind of sucks having to go to the trucks because you go to the trucks and you do an interview and meanwhile you hear as they're like drilling out stuff in the background, or someone's still pressure washing a bike post race and you just got that thing running the whole time. So it's not a good thing. Like it's not, I don't walk up to the team trucks going, man, this is awesome. Like this is gonna be a great time.
Plus you have to ask and they might say no, and that kind of feels terrible if they say no, or at least at the scrum they're there.
And I've had plenty of people say no this year, last year, like I'm good. It's totally okay.
Yeah, me too. I've had guys tell me no too. It's no problem. I do not hold it against them, and we're all friends. And I go, cool, man. You got a flight, or you had a shitty day? No problem. I'll talk to you next week. I went into the Honda truck. Jet was in there. I did not talk to Jet after the race. He didn't do the scrum. He did the press conference only. And I went into the Honda truck because I said, hey, it's Johnny O show. And I think Jet was like waiting for me to talk to him. And I'm like, no, like I'm talking to O show. Like I didn't talk to Jet. I would love to talk to Jet, but I went in to talk to O'Mara. I didn't want to bother Jet. And Jet and I had a great conversation, but I never went in to interview him. I think he thought I was. And I'm like, no, man, I'm talking to O show. Beat it. So anyways, all right. Should we do the ASV read? Because Bob's getting all the t-shirt time.
Hey, when you crush it, then you get extra time. I got to do a read. I got a new read. It's a new one. It's important. It's special, and it has to do with this weekend. So yes, Steve, I have to do it. You ready?
All right.
Here we go. ASV Inventions is celebrating 25 years as the inventor of the original unbreakable adjustable motocross lever. The new American Revolution colorway of the ASV EMIG ODI Pro Pack Plus is now available in red, white, and blue. See, it's a big change. It's this weekend. ASV will be at Loretta Lynn's again this year, which Steve will not because he lost to Chicken. That's what it says right here in the read.
Sad.
Sad. Yep. Offering free tech support to all racers, including Chicken. Look for us on Vendor Row. ASV products are tested and used by AMA Pro racers. Check out the latest ASV EMIG Pro Pack Plus colorway at asvinventions.com and use the code PulpMX in all caps for 20 off.
And Bob told me I can leave the levers on my old bike.
I told you that.
I know, but Bob confirmed that. Okay. Are we ready for fantasy? Everything good? Anything else?
Ready. I'm first, Kellen.
So this is phenomenal. This is what we did last week. So we obviously
I went first. I went first and I won this week. Just want to point that out. See, that's what the issue's been all year, dude, is you had first gate pick every single week. So and I finally get the gate pick and I win. So
Fraud asked me where RJ Hampshire would finish. I said 6th. He got 6th. It's amazing. He asked me where Harry Koulis would finish. I said 14th. He got 11th. Good job, Hari. He got 9th in the first moto. Best ride of the year. Mikkel Hara, I said 8th. He got 6th, so I was off by 2. I was off by 3 with Koulis, by the way. And then Nate Thrasher. Sweet Jesus. The range of finishes for Nate Thrasher are all over the place. I said 14th. God damn it, he got 14th. Holy shit.
Can't believe that.
I can't be stopped. So I was 5 off of the 4 riders. Phenomenal score. But Daniel Blair comes through. Justin Cooper. Daniel said 4th. He got 4th. Benoit Pacharel. He said 14th, and Pacharel got 13th. 1 off. Jalik Swoll. Now, Daniel, you must have had some lucky charms up your ass because Jalik, you said 11th, and he got 11th, but he crashed twice on the last lap.
I knew that would happen.
He went from 6th to 15th on the last lap from 2 crashes, Daniel.
I knew that would happen.
Okay. God damn. What's the winning lotto numbers then?
Can't tell you, but I'll take you somewhere when I win.
And then Seth, so you nailed that one. And then Seth Hammaker, you said 6th. He got 8th. So you were 3 off of 5 guys. I was 5 off of 4 guys. God damn, we're good. I'm still leading 79-93, but this is the time to soak it in, everybody. If you are watching or listening to the number 1 podcast show in Supercross and motocross, just look at those results. Can't be topped.
Can't even be touched. I mean, that, like, again, I want to beat you really badly, but sometimes I got to be like, you know what?
Yep.
We did good. So
before we do this, because everyone will click off, TLD, Race Tech, Zool, Seat Concepts, Firepower, Maxxis, ASV Levers, Decal Works, Alpine Stars, Stomp Grip, all on board with us. All right, the fraud has our picks for RedBud this weekend. Here we go. Let's hope we can nail this again.
All right, well, just to appease him, because this is a gripe now with him, we'll lead off with DB.
Go ahead. I don't care.
But there is going to be a curveball this week, so we'll just start with DB's picks and go from there. So, Daniel, where does Chase Sexton finish in his return?
3rd.
No, I would have said 3rd. Yep, I would have said 3rd.
Okay. And then along those same lines, how about Antonio Cairoli?
10.
Maybe we're not the best podcast show because we should have talked about Antonio Cairoli racing RedBud.
We'll talk about it next week after. What do we?
Award-winning LBK show already did that. So
okay, all right.
10.
Okay, 10th.
By the way, wait. We had Cairoli on the Pulp Show. Did you talk about that, Kellen?
No, because we did LBK before.
Oh, that's right, you
Pulp
did.
Show.
I was just surprised. He mentioned very stock-looking bike, doesn't have factory suspension. He's going to have a Kropovich on there, but stock motor. This is more of a test, is what Antonio was saying, of the stock motorcycle than a full factory fire-breathing Ducati. So
thank you for that. I'll go 12.
Okay. All
right. Look at that, Steve. You're skewing the viewpoints here.
And then, Kellen, did you listen to the Cairoli thing?
Yeah.
Were you surprised?
Its own thing Fridays.
Were you surprised that he said something about like politics or keeping the show us stuff away from him?
I was surprised. Well, you kind of led into it, so you kind of gave him the answer for him. But I was surprised that he agreed.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would.
No, I knew the reason why. Like I knew why, but I didn't know why. I suspected why, but yeah, man, it's just another thing that's really super weird. So, anyways,
yeah,
12.
Okay,
12.
Continuing on here, DB 250 class, Tom Vialle.
Not MXGP. 250 motocross.
Oh, 3rd.
All right. And then last but not least, Dylan Schwartz.
Oh, he's rangy too because he's really good sometimes. It's going to be super hot. 12. Yeah. Right. 312, 312 on my picks.
No, I like all those.
Okay. Here comes the curveball, Steve. Chase Sexton.
Oh
yeah, but he can't. What?
I can say 3rd though, right?
If you want, or you could also score better than DB in this exact situation.
You want to play it safe, or you want to risk it for the biscuit? Give him a combine kid.
No, do not give me a combine kid.
Vincent Way.
Fedortsov.
He's a pro, dude.
Oh yeah.
He got points both motos last week.
Can we get to the bottom why Berluti really didn't like the Russian kid on the Pulp Show a few weeks ago?
I watched that, and
dude,
I got to talk to Tony. It was so harsh.
I think, honestly, Berlut's kind of like a right-wing guy. I think just the fact the kid's Russian and Russians are enemies.
Kid was born in Florida, dude.
I know. The kid's super
Ron
nice.
DeSantis was his governor.
I know, but Tony, I'm telling you, I think Berlut thinks he's Drago from Rocky IV. Like brought over right from Russia.
He was born in Florida.
I know. I don't think Berlut knows that.
Yeah, he was harsh on him though. I watched that. I was like, oh my God. Like my feelings were hurt a little bit. I was like, Tony.
I think he thinks this kid's from Moscow and he's coming, like to practice communism in America. Okay, I'm gonna go 3rd. Sorry, I know what you're saying about like try to beat 2nd. Like the choices are 2nd or 4th.
That's why I picked 3rd because it's 2 or 4.
Yeah. So I'll go 3rd. I want to beat Daniel.
That's funny.
Sad. Well, then my second curveball's not going to do much for you either because I was going to have you pick Antonio Cairoli.
Oh, no, we'll see.
No, I like the 12th too. But okay, no. He just went 8-7 or 7-8 or 9-8 at Matterley. Good ride for him. I will say, okay, no hate comms. I'm going to turn this around. I think they have bike problems or something in a moto. So I will go 15th with some sort of issue.
Man, Paul and Dan are pulling you to their side day by day.
No. Dan's 18 to 22.
No.
Dan's 18 to 22 with no problems, which he's high or drunk.
Wow.
I'm saying a crash, an issue with the motorcycle, something. And
that would be a terrible debut for the bike.
So then Antonio goes like 9-17 or something. Like that's my prediction. All right.
Okay.
Take Chase out and pick a combine kid for both of us. Let's mix it up. Come on.
No.
Be brave, Steve. Be brave.
Steve's not even going to, well, he's not going to be there this weekend, but he would not even come to the combine race Friday if he was coming. So.
No.
Okay, let's go 250s then. Levi Kitchen.
Third.
Okay. And
you better give him a weird one.
Schwartz's teammate, Parker Ross.
Dude, Ross is good. So I didn't pick him in fantasy. I knew he'd be good, but honestly, no hate comms. I thought the bike would have a problem. I thought the team with the bike would have a problem. Deep sand, hot. It's not that hot, but semi-hot. And I worried about Parker Ross's bike making it. It did make it. Good job, BarX. And he crushed it and got 100 fantasy points. And I was cursing myself. Parker Ross is legit. What do you get at Southwick? 11th, I think?
13-10.
Yep. Rode really well. I don't know what he looks like, so I need to interview him, but I don't know what he looks like.
I can introduce you.
Okay, please do. Kid's doing it. Good job. He's in shape, man. He's right, Kellen? Like he is in shape. That dude hammers.
Yeah.
He's always been that way. In
Has
amateurs,
he?
he was never flashy. He never stood off the page, but he was in that Bennick, Deegan, Cochran finish. He's in that whole little pack of age, but he always sat behind them, but he was good late in motos. He's always been strong. That's never been an issue.
All right,
Just
11th.
never been flashy, but he's
11th.
pretty flashy now.
11th. Okay.
Man.
I mean, you guys' picks are just insanely similar this week. That's hilarious.
Well, that's your job. The fraud. The fraud is.
No, I get it.
Okay, before we go, let's talk Combine, SMX next. Daniel, you talk about it, or Kellen, you can jump in. But who does well? What are we talking about?
So I will say that in general right now, your favorite pretty much every time is Landon Gordon. He's kind of like your every round favorite. Doesn't mean he's going to win because he hasn't been able to close out these motocross ones. He won 2 futures rounds.
Landon Gordon going to Star Yamaha.
Going to Star. Yep. But right now I would say he comes in as your penciled in favorite, but Landon Gibson got second at the last one. He's been to RedBud a bunch in his life, and I think he's probably due for a breakout. Jessen Turner, a kid on club, he got third at Daytona. He was running third at Pittsburgh before he crashed. He's actually a B rider, Steve. He got fifth at the Combine at Hangtown, and right now he's been riding great, and I just got to throw it out there that I think he's going to have a really good weekend. I don't know if he wins or even ends up on the box, but his name needs to start being heard more and more.
What about this Taylor Reed kid that raced a few weeks ago?
That's Reed Taylor. He raced pro, and he's coming back from Australia. He's going to race the last 3 rounds of the pro. He doesn't race these.
Oh, he doesn't do combines? Okay.
No.
I thought that's why he only – okay. All right.
No. So, and then Ryder Malinowski's back too, but he just got back on a bike a couple weeks ago, racing himself back into shape. But Jessen Turner is a name that everyone needs to start recognizing, and I'm not saying that just because he's a club kid. The results are there too. So you'll all start seeing him more and more, and this might be the weekend where he pops. So
we talked about it on Monday here on the Pulp Show, but Aiden Zing, rest in peace, Daniel. Just absolutely terrible deal, crashing at Mammoth, Team Green hot shoe. I met him a little bit at the Paula Amateur Day, and then of course the regional. Met the dad, all of that. Terrible deal, but yep.
Yeah, this one has really, really, really been hard. And for me, I don't know him super, super well, but I know everyone in that age group because they were all friends with him, and that 15 to 17-year-old block of kids, they all know each other. And even this week at club, I had to have a sit down with one of the kids there that was close to him that was having a really hard couple days, and just talk him through it. That's kind of my job there. And this has been very difficult for the entire industry, but especially for the kids that are friends with him. And I know that whole age group. At KTM, I obviously worked with a lot of this age group. He's 16, so he's in that AMA 15 block. And I'm devastated for him and his family. And again, for me, I've just really been kind of focused on that group of friends that he has around him. And I hope that they're all hanging in there together. This has been terrible for the industry and for all these teenage kids that are probably just, they're blindsided. They don't understand it. Yep. As adults, you see things through a little bit of a different lens, and you could put things into perspectives a little faster. But for these kids, they're all shook so bad on this. So I just, my heart to the family and to all these kids that are really affected by this.
Yep. Bad deal. Great kid, great family. Rest in peace, Aiden Zing. All right. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody, on the Blair Matthes Project, TLD Race Tech. Really appreciate it. Good show. Daniel, you'll be at RedBud this weekend. I will not be there. I think the fraud's going. I believe the fraud's going. Yep, the fraud's going. So you guys will see each other. But I do have a representative there for Pulp MX. His name is Mr. Side. Please treat him accordingly with the respect that you would give me. Give Mr. Side the same courtesy, please.
Okay. Will do.
All right. And with Daniel's trying hard not to laugh. All right. We're done here. Thanks for watching and listening. Thanks to the fraud. And we will see you guys next week.